All right, guys, here we are. What's going on? Sandy Cerami and my man, the right-hand guy with the devastating right hook. His name is Ron Marvo, and we are joined today on the Automotive Intel Report by the CEO of USA Motor Jobs, Mr. Scott Trainor.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Good to have you too, buddy. Before we get to the fun and games, Scott, we got to pay the bills here over at Sandy Cerami and Associates, and so this episode today is sponsored by Priority Payments Local. They're the leading provider of merchant-focused payment processing and funding solutions in America. Their proprietary net zero platform helps businesses of all shapes, sizes, and industries reduce and even eliminate processing fees once and for all, saving their clients 5, 6, even 7 figures a year. As a matter of fact, we've got firsthand experience, a client that we're working with right now with over $400,000 in annual savings out of their dealer group. So incredible opportunity for dealers. Whether you're a traditional brick and mortar business, a dealership, or an online e-commerce business, Priority Payments has a solution that's perfect for your business. Visit sandycerami.com/priority. That's sandycerami.com/priority for a free analysis. And if we can't save your business money, we'll give you a $100 gift card just for taking the time to send your processing statements for analysis. So once again, this Priority Payments Local, great guys, a great team, incredible customer service. They just do the right thing the right way all the time. So with that, I want to welcome my man, Mr. Scott Trainor, CEO of USA Motor Jobs. An interesting story because, Scott, you guys launched in 2020, right in the heart and the height of COVID and the lockdown. It was interesting times. I was talking about it this morning with Mr. Bill Schomburg. A shout out to Bill Schomburg, who I do a phone call with every single week just to keep the head in check. And we were talking about the initial effects of the lockdown and the impact that it had. But you are a real career car guy. The thing I love about you is you come to this platform with real world, real experience. You sold Toyotas early on in your career. You also ran Canada's largest Mercedes-Benz dealership successfully as well. So you're not coming at this from a pure tech perspective. You're coming at this with some real car experience. And so we're excited to have you here today, buddy.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah. And it's not just myself. My whole team came from the industry, whether they be working for the manufacturer, working in human resources at stores, or a mechanic turned teacher. So we all are part of the industry. And that's why we really do see ourselves more as industry partners and not as a vendor. We're here for the best of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we actually had a chance we've spent a number of Zoom calls together over the course of the last few weeks as we put together what I consider to be one of the most dynamic strategic alliances in the business. We're excited to work with your team. And you guys come at it from multiple different disciplines within automotive as well. Technician side, the sales side, HR. So you've got all the bases covered. Let's talk a little bit about what makes your platform different and the things that we're chasing, as you and I talked about in our initial call.
Yeah, so we have completely modernized how people are connecting in the industry. We know that the CVs and resumes are almost a thing of the past. We've adapted to what the generation knows now, which is best is profiles. Mm-hmm. So people often compare us to a dating site, and it almost is like that. It's a dating site for your career in the automotive industry. We're trying different avenues. We're working with different partnerships, different programs. So when I say we're industry involved, we actually do work with higher education centers. We have partnerships with some veterans associations for the returning men and women to come into the automotive industry when they return from service. We're working with different clubs, and we even have a pilot program right now with the penitentiary for nonviolent offenders to bring them and show them that there is careers in the industry. So we're out there doing what's best. We're not a recruiter. We're not an agency, which is what you do best, Sandy, which is why I think this alliance was actually going to work very well. This partnership we have going together, when two big forces like us meet up, the industry is going to notice and benefit from it.
I would agree. And I think it's, for full disclosure and transparency, we need to let them know that you actually found me through the penitentiary program. Sorry, I didn't know that about you, man. You threw me a beach ball. I needed to take a swing at that one. I know Ron's getting a good chuckle out of it. But, it's funny because the way that we got together is so emblematic of one of the things that we teach at Sandy Cerami and Associates, and that is the 7 pillars of killer business development. I'd put a piece of content up on LinkedIn speaking about the importance of how businesses are recruiting these days. And the one thing that I think that attracted you to the conversation in the first place was the fact that we talked about, being out there 365 days throughout the year. How important do you see that as an aspect of a recruiting campaign or a recruiting strategy for dealerships specifically, but really any business?
Yeah, well, many of the groups that are on board with us that are having the most success are the ones that are always looking to improve or better their situation in terms of candidates. Because if a store loses an employee who decides to move on and go somewhere else, it's not necessarily at that point where you have the best candidates in the market. So a group that's always looking to improve themselves and their team are always going to be on the market for new candidates. So if they're constantly recruiting, constantly improving, it's always going to be the right timing because they'll always hit the candidate at the perfect time.
Absolutely, buddy. We are so simpatico in with that philosophy. Ultimately, we call it thin slicing the marketplace, right? So if you're only going to thin slice the marketplace and look for talent when you're at high noon as a business owner or a business leader, not when the top talent happens to be at high noon, well, then it's kind of, as you said, a hit or miss opportunity to catch a talented person that they are at high noon themselves looking for a career opportunity or a career change.
Yeah, exactly. And things have changed completely now. People are no longer sitting at home waiting for a job offer.
Right.
Everybody is employed. So it's up to the employers to sell themselves and to always be out there recruiting and promoting their company culture and their values. Why candidates should then consider leaving where they are to better their career at the new establishment.
Yeah.
So.
And to that point, Scott, as well, like you just said, that's what makes your platform so fantastic is the candidate is interviewing the employee.
Right.
I mean, the employer rather, I'm sorry. And, it's more of, do you have what I'm looking for culturally and things like that? So when you say that USA Motor Jobs is more of like a dating site for the candidate and the employer, I mean, how much better can you get, especially in this day and age?
Well, Ron, to dovetail off of that statement, Scott, that was one of the things that was most attractive to Ron and I. We use a number of different job boards when we're recruiting for our clients. And the thing that we noticed that was different about yours is that there looks to be a higher degree of opportunity to match the right candidate with the right employer ultimately.
Yeah, exactly. They're choosing from their criteria, qualifications, skill sets that they have. The employers and the candidates are both doing the same. They're choosing from the same list. The employers are posting the salary. Most are. We highly encourage that they post the salary because just like a dating site, everybody wants to know what they're getting into. You're not going to click if there's no picture to continue. So, but the candidates are filling from the same, what they're looking for, if they're willing to relocate, what salary expectations they're looking for, and what skill sets they have. And it'll actually show the candidate how they match up onto the jobs that before applying. Obviously, there's an interpersonal skill and everything that comes with the relationships after. But the plain and simple is this a good fit for me to go further and to analyze? Because every company is hiring. But how do you really know which one's best? It's not selling themselves on fancy wording. It's really plain and simple. Where do you match up and what's important for you? At the same time as well, I have to mention, all the candidates in the system are anonymous. So just because a candidate creates a profile, nobody will see their information. However, we've gone one step further where the candidate's profile, although it's anonymous, the employers can view the statistics and how they match up. They're not going to see the candidate's name, contact information, or employers that they are currently worked at or previously were working at. They're just going to see how they match up. So aside from the candidates being able to apply, employers can actually go out and try and match with the anonymous candidates. They can invite candidates to apply on the position. So that's why we always say it's great to have your profile up because the employer's not going to know who you are. They're going to see how you match up. And at that point, once the employer reaches out to you, you can then decide, okay, here's my information, or I'm going to pass on this one.
And I think the beauty of that ultimately is it makes it a more efficient process for both the candidate and the employer to go through in order to find the right people for the right position and the right opportunity.
Exactly. It's easier for them to see off the bat how they match up.
No question. Yeah. No question. We talk about the thin slicing piece and being out in the market as an employer 365 days out of the year. We talk about the concept of high noon, and high noon for candidates can be any number of different life or professional events that occurs that puts them in a position where they, they may be head down grazing in the grass, and then all of a sudden something happens where they pick their head up, and now they're looking around to see what opportunities are out there. You talk about things like, maybe you recently got engaged, you got married, you're about to have a baby, your spouse just was transferred, you had a management change, you had an ownership change in your business. You are just looking for an opportunity to grow in your career. You don't know what that high noon moment is going to be for a candidate. And that's why, as an employer, you've got to be out there 365 days out of the year. I'm so confident of that. And Ron and I have talked about this. We offer a guarantee on our recruiting campaigns. When you go to a pro plan, we guarantee you that you're going to find better quality candidates. And we offer money back guarantee because I know that strategy works. We've seen it happen, for less change. We see that it works.
Yeah, it's definitely the quality that you're looking for nowadays. As I mentioned, there's not people sitting at home waiting for job offers. So you're not going to get the volume that you did 5 years ago, 6 years ago. But however, the first 3-4 candidates that apply and they match up well, they're interested, go ahead and call them. I remember back in the day, HR used to wait until they had a desk full of resumes. Okay, I'll wait till I get 10 of them and then organize it. Right. Nowadays, if you don't jump on those candidates right away, the first 2 that applied in the first couple of days, they've also already applied at other places. You don't wait anymore. You grab
that's
them.
That's so great about your system.
Candidates are ready, not when you're ready.
Absolutely. No question about it. And look, when you talk about the impact of the internet, the mobile phone, social media, all these things play into the importance of being highly responsive in the marketplace when you have candidates that have their head up above the herd looking for that opportunity. You've got to strike while the iron's hot. Ron and I talk about that all the time with our clients, is that, if you've got the right ad copy, right, we're going to start there. I see very often one of the issues is that the ad copy just doesn't stand out, right? It's
copy and paste, Sandy. A lot of them is copy and paste. They just see what's happened in the past and they just keep going and don't change anything and don't get different results.
On the money. If you have ever copy and pasted a competitor's ad so that you can shortcut your employment ads, then you have committed one of the 7 deadly sins of subpar recruiting, which, by the way, is a great PDF that we just released, the 7 deadly sins of subpar recruiting, which you can find on our website at sandycerami.com and download it for free. But that's one of the things we talk about. If you don't have the right kind of ad copy, you're not attracting the right candidates as a result of it. If your ad copy just looks like everybody else's, then that's what they're going to think of you as, is just another opportunity out in the markmarketplace. And not the opportunity.
The needs of candidates have completely, and their wants have completely changed. Yes, salary is important. We always tell the employer it's very important to post a salary. But how's the work-life balance? How's the company culture?
Yes.
Is there a possibility for advancement within the company? The new generation does not want to just go into a position and say, this is what I'm going to do. They want to know that the organization will support them and help them further their career within the organization.
I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, it's an opportunity that is missed so often, where we don't talk about career pathing during the interview process, right? We want to have the right ad copy. And then when we get to the interview process, nobody takes the time to talk about some of the stories within their dealership or within their business of success, people that started at the bottom and worked their way, up the organizational chart and have had, that career path success that most of the younger folks are out there looking for.
I know it's something you highly promote, and we see eye to eye on that. Exactly. That's company culture and possible advancement for their career within an organization is very important right now for candidates on the market.
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing that separates a job from a career, and it's one word, and it's called opportunity. Folks that are looking for more opportunity are more apt to look at a career position than just another job to collect a paycheck. And if that's what you want to fill the positions in your company with, then you've got to speak to that, very specifically. We also miss opportunities. Talk to me about how you feel in terms of the importance of sharing the story behind the business. Like, had the business got started, who was the founder? What are the nitty-gritty details that will give people an opportunity to sink their teeth into the organization that they're joining? Do you see that as a real opportunity?
I do. And some of the groups that perform well with us are the ones that do tell a story. What works now great is storytelling. so that they can feel part of a company, part of a culture. Maybe the owner or dealer principal doesn't know everybody there, but if they can allow the candidates and the current employees to feel like they're part of something bigger and they're
Right.
contributing, then that goes a long way in terms of employee retention and new hires.
Yeah. How much are you hearing that out in the marketplace right now, Scott? When you talk to dealers and business leaders, the importance that they're placing on making sure that they retain top talent in their organization, and what are some of the things that you see they're doing specifically to keep top talent around?
I definitely see hits and misses in the industry. There's some performers are doing great right now in the industry with it, and some that aren't. I mean, I've been very vocal of a lot of these stores offering big sign-on bonuses, where I've switched to the table. I said, how about some smaller retention bonuses?
Right.
Keep your current employees happy, keep them feel valued. The pizza party for the mechanics is a joke now. It's almost laughed upon where, great, that we made a record-breaking month, we get pizza. No, how about a night out? How about 4-day work weeks, which is becoming a normal thing for techs, 4 days but 10-hour days.
Yep.
Give them a work-life balance. Let them feel they're appreciated. Do something for the family. Get closer to them. Those are the stores that are really progressive and forward-thinking, are the ones that are attracting the top talent right now.
Yeah, no question about it.
Money for signing bonuses, it's great, but everybody knows there's a catch to it. So, I mean, you and I it would hurt our business a bit more if nobody was hiring. However, at the same time, I want what's best for the industry. I know you want what's best for the industry.
Yeah.
So we are coaching the stores to do this. So there's always going to be a need for us. They're always going to have some changeover. But we want people to want to come to automotive, and the people that are in automotive to stay, because there has been a decline. There's been a decline in new graduates going into trades and going into to study to be technicians. There's a decline of salespeople that are finding a great salesman is a great salesman. So if they could sell cars, they could sell in any other industry most of the time. So we really have to work together to promote the industry and people feel valued and why they should stay for the organization long term.
Yeah, again, we talk about, and the context here is, where do we go to find these folks? And the answer is everywhere. Yeah. Okay. And social media becomes a great opportunity for you to tell your story about your dealership, about your business, so that folks have an idea of what the culture is like. What is the story that you're looking to tell? And when we've got the opportunity in 59 seconds or less to share short form content across multiple different platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, there are so many different ways to get your story and the opportunity in front of folks that are out there that would consider opportunity in your business. They just have to hear your message. Right. Yeah. I just don't see the level of commitment that folks need. Now, sometimes it's a matter of a lack of time, a lack of focus, a lack of manpower. Right now, we know that a lot of businesses are working short-staffed. And so that's good news for us and good news for you. But the truth of the matter is whether they're working short-staffed, whether the economy is up, the economy is down, it always respirates. There's always going to be almost kind of an increase, decrease rhythm in any economy. The truth of the matter is that we should still be looking for quality people all the time, because we always want to have top talent manning, our businesses.
Yeah, and even touching on your point of the videos, I think a lot of people overthink it. They think, oh no, I'm going to have to hire a production crew. I'm going to have to get a videographer. Something as simple as cell phone videos, homegrown.
That's it right there. That's it. Just point and shoot.
Because people connect more now with genuine. They don't want to work corporate. They don't want to feel like just a number. They want to feel family. And what's that? That's homegrown videos. That's just cell phone videos of the techs explaining why they like doing what they're doing at the store they're at, of the salespeople, and mashing it all together. You can clip a video together with some free software and make a little 60-second video of the store that you filmed with your cell phone. That probably took an hour of the time. Absolutely. And it's those natural homegrown videos that really is what people connect with, and make it fun. Don't make it feel corporate.
Buddy, you just hit the ball on that one. And Ron knows exactly where I'm going with this. But, to us, for Ron and I, our goal is to simplify everything for clients, right? Ultimately simplify it so that we can get quick action and quick results, right? And so when you talk about what we're really doing when we're out there recruiting, it's no different than selling. Okay, it's no different than selling. It's the exact same thing. What's the single biggest fear that candidates have out there when they're looking for a new career opportunity? And the single biggest fear in our experience is the making a mistake of joining the wrong company tends to be the biggest fear that they have. They want to know they're making the right decision. No different than when a client walks into our business, they want to know that they're making the right decision to do business with us. Make sense?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's definitely much harder. I know salesman's a bit of a different story when it comes to leaving dealers, because the salesman mentality, they're in competition with each other. Yes, they form a bond, but not like technicians. I know, and I'm going to touch on technicians because technicians is what the industry is really hurting for right now. But how do you recruit a technician is so much harder because they're in family together. Technicians are really bonded together. They'll go for dinners together, not company things. They'll go for dinners together. Their wives become friends together. They'll go camping together. They'll go play baseball together. So to get a technician to consider leaving and for a new opportunity, he has to feel very safe in his decision of doing so and comfortable in the new location.
No, I couldn't agree more. We got some comments that are popping in from social media. My man, Guy Smith, how are you, buddy? It's good to see you. My man out of Rochester, New York. Interesting because Guy Smith and his brother and their company, if you remember the old HBO intro lead in, da 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 da, that was his company. And I always think of those guys. I see that. It's good to see you too, and love your energy and enthusiasm. My man, Michael Poro, listen, he's at a 20 group meeting. That is, I think, the level of commitment that people make when they want to improve. They take the time and figure out how to get involved. And Michael Poro is at his 20 group meeting, but chiming in. Simple does get done, buddy. Simplify things and it gets done. And then my man, John Bannon, the king of CPR. All right. King of CPR. Check John Bannon out on LinkedIn. But hiring should be just like selling. And John Bannon, you're on the money. Another fellow Canadian, a Canuck, Scott. For sure. But the point ultimately is that we are selling an opportunity. We are selling the future for these folks. And so it's critically important that we take into consideration what's important to them. What are the things that they value, in their life? And the thing, again, I love about your site is you can take the things that the dealership or the business that's recruiting through your website platform and put their values out there for everyone to see. And that gives the opportunity for that congruency and that alignment for the candidates that they seek.
Yeah, thank you. No, we definitely wanted to highlight that. And it's really what was missing. We're not a typical job board. And being automotive dedicated allowed us to provide these tools to the stores to highlight themselves. And that's what people are really starting to learn about us. I know it was a while to get going, especially after launching during COVID. But once dealerships actually come on board and the groups, they appreciate what we're doing for the industry and how it's an additional tool for them to sell themselves and reach candidates that they might not have on typical job boards.
Scott, let me ask you this question. What were the experiences that you had, as you grew up in this business that shaped your philosophy and your perspective in terms of how you operate your business today?
It's definitely really the people and the culture. I mean, I started back when selling cars was a whole different animal. It was a whole different game, and how the salespeople were just happy to be there making money. They weren't taken care of necessarily financially. The way they were treated by some of their managers was not always the best.
Right.
Now it's really the culture that's changed, and it's a people industry now. Mm-hmm. Also, technology's completely changed that as well, in how they can broadcast themselves and how they market themselves as well. So,
yeah, one of the things that we focus on is really the onboarding and orientation process with clients. And so when you don't have, another one of the 7 deadly sins, by the way, is not having that detailed and written out. Make that first day, that first week, that first month, the first year exciting. Demonstrate to them the importance of them being part of your team. We talk about the first day. A lot of times we want to throw people right into the mix, get them productive on their first day. And we always caution clients, like, the first day shouldn't be about getting them productive. The first thing that we should be doing is gaining some confidence, okay, or letting them gain some confidence that they've made the right decision, get them a chance to meet and greet everybody in the organization, get their feet underneath them before they're ever asked to produce anything in the business. And then, take the first week. At the end of the first week, we talk about having lunch with a leader within the organization. Take the end of that first week and assign one of the leaders within your organization. And by the way, by leader, I don't mean somebody with a title. I mean somebody that has the leadership skills. It could be a receptionist. It could be a porter that's just exceptional, that has passion and enthusiasm for what they do and where they work, and just give them the opportunity to sit down over a sandwich or a quick bite to eat to get a feel for some feedback on the first week and just share some time. It's just a really smart way to invest an hour of your time in, creating those relationships and those ties that bind long term. And then after the first month, sit down. Let's talk about what the first 30 days has been like. Invest a half an hour, 45 minutes, just sitting down to take a look at the first 30 days, because you'll find out more about how effective your onboarding and orientation process is in the first 30 days. And you can make adjustments based on the feedback that you get. Does that make sense?
Makes so sense. Some of the success stories I've seen as well is stores who are willing to invest in their new hires, that understand for the first month they're not going to be producing, whether it be a tech or a salesman. Guarantee them a salary. Yes, the store's going to be at a loss for the first month, but if you know you have the right candidate, invest in them, make sure they're comfortable, and build them. That's going to build their loyalty, trust, and dedication to the company, saying, okay, I did not produce, but the store took care of me. The store sees my potential.
Absolutely. Yeah, to that point, like if you're questioning post-hire whether or not you should be investing in business cards for that person, taking the time to get all their logins done in advance, some right out of the gate training and development investment. If you're questioning that after you've already made the decision to hire somebody, then I think you need to go rethink the whole hiring strategy in the first place, right? Taking the time to go through an exclusionary process to match the right people with your organization helps you avoid that, altogether.
Yeah, we're in one of the greatest industries that's constantly changing and constantly evolving, and people love it. So if you really get them comfortable, and especially if you're pulling them from somewhere who's not automotive, you make sure they're comfortable and that they feel like this is a career opportunity for them.
Yes.
Make sure they have their feet on the ground and they're good to go. They'll stay with you because you built them up.
Yeah, I think it goes a long way in helping avoid that turnover that becomes epidemic in our industry, especially on the salesperson side. When you take that first 30 days and really invest quality time in developing a bond and a real relationship with those folks so that they really truly believe that they've made the right decision about their career. I think you would eliminate half the turnover that we see in our business if you made the commitment to spending time over the course of that first 30 days, really getting to know that candidate and understanding what challenges they may be facing, where they see some potential discomfort, and addressing it early on, as opposed to having something go on for 60, 90 days at a time and then end up having somebody either getting blown out or blowing out on their own. And then you're right back to square one and starting with a brand new person again, right? So if you got to continue to do this over and over and over again and expect to get a different result, we all know what the definition of insanity is, and that is it in a nutshell. So investing time.
Yeah.
And folks that are with you for at least a 12-month period of time have obviously a much higher degree of loyalty to you and your business. And so what are we doing over the course of that first year to make sure that that we're ensuring that they do feel as though they're part of something, as you said before, and I think so perfectly put, something bigger than themselves, right?
No, definitely. People want to be loyal. People want to feel involved, and it's not rocket science. It's not complicated. It's just a matter of a company willing to take the time and effort and invest in their candidates and in their current employees.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Scott is also giving them an equal opportunity. Like if they are in the organization, let's say from the technician standpoint, and a technician is getting a majority of the cars that come in and actually doing the PDIs, and you're not getting that opportunity, and I'm a new technician and I'm seeing this culture in the back of the shop, I'm going to question, well, am I ever going to get to be that person? Why does that one person get more opportunity for doing PDIs that everybody can do? That's not saying I'm a master tech, but that I can do that. Why doesn't that person get that shot? Once they feel that type of culture in the dealership, whether in the fixed op side or the variable side, a salesman getting all the house deals, they're going to start to back off from like, you know what, I don't feel it anymore. But if you're saying, if the managers are able to go up to your new salespeople or technicians, say, hey, here's an opportunity for you to get your feet wet with this. Wow, I can't believe he did that for me, especially early on, like Sandy says, in the first year, 6 months, even first month, give him a shot, something that you can even coach them through. I think that's huge. And I think the highest operating dealers that we see and the best cultural dealerships are doing things like that with their new employees.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it's the automotive industry is such a small industry. Everybody talks. Everybody knows everybody. There's no secret. So it's very simple. A dealer's reputation could be great, and then it can go down just as quick, depending how they operate. It's a very small industry. The techs from one store know the techs at another store who's a competitor, and they talk.
What they're getting paid, yeah.
What they're getting paid. It's not. There's not a secret. So we've even seen some employers, and we always recommend post a salary. But we've seen some employers not wanting to post a salary because they don't want their current employees to know what they're offering. There's a problem in that itself. Yeah. It's a very small industry. They're very tight knit, and they talk. They're in groups. Even some of our social team and myself, we're in different social media groups that are industry dedicated, and some of them are just service advisors. Some of the groups are just techs, and we're in a part of that. One of the smallest things the other day, one of the persons said, I was so surprised. My service manager came up to me today and said, "Attaboy, you did a great job. I'm very proud of you." And he said, I shouldn't have to feel like this was the biggest accomplishment I have. He said, but this made my week.
Yep.
And then a bunch of them chimed in, something that small. It doesn't take a lot. The employers think it takes a lot. It does not take a lot to keep people happy nowadays.
You raise a great point, Scott. One of the things we talk about is killer culture versus culture killers, right? And in a killer culture, you've got 3 ingredients that are highly valued, and that's leadership, regardless of title, just great leadership in an organization, high levels of accountability. And we talk about reciprocal accountability, meaning that there's accountability in both directions, right? We are, as leaders in a business, it's our responsibility to hold people accountable for their performance, and vice versa. By doing that, we're holding ourselves accountable for doing what we're supposed to be doing. And then the third thing is recognition of a job both done well and maybe not so well, so that people understand what does a great job look like and what does a poor job look like, what is acceptable, what is unacceptable. And when we're able to communicate those things without having to scream, yell, rant, and rave, or completely talk down to folks, when we can have a real dialogue and a conversation, that goes such a long way for developing that level of trust between an employee and an employer. It's more along the lines of 2 adults or 2 professionals having a conversation about things that may need to change, or something that was done exceptionally well and you need to acknowledge it.
And if they're doing bad, Sandy, pointing them to the solution, like acknowledging that bad, job, and then saying, hey, this is how you're going to solve this moving forward, and making sure that they know that they can make the mistake, just don't repeat the same mistake twice or after we've had the conversation.
No question. Such a great point. Jim Rohn, the great Jim Rohn, ROHN. Scott, you familiar with Jim Rohn?
No, I'm not.
All right. So that's somebody you can go, what? Hashtag GTS moment, Ron. Hashtag GTS means what?
Google that.
So Jim Rohn used to say, look, people are going to make a mess, but don't leave them in the mess, right? To Ron's point, give them a solution, give them a path forward, give them a path towards progress, as opposed to just telling them everything that they've done wrong. It's a great way to imbue trust throughout the organization, when people understand that they're not going to be crushed because they've made a mistake, especially when they've done something with great intentions, but have just made a mistake along the way, or a miscalculation that resulted in less than optimum results, or it could be a little bit of a catastrophe. At the end of the day, you've got to recognize what noble efforts are and reward noble failure with some support, and then also the opportunity to help them change course and change direction, so you get the result that you're looking for. It goes a long way.
Oh, definitely. Coachable moments out there. If it's done the right way, the employees are very open to being coached. And
no question.
As long as it's done the right way with the right intentions, you're not there just getting them in trouble. You're there to help them. I mean, mistakes will happen. Everybody does them, but it's how you grow and pass them. And if a manager is able to see past that, and work with them to improve so it doesn't happen again, that's where you really get the value of great management.
Yeah, no question. We talked before about economies respirating when they're up, when they're down, regardless of whether they're up or down. We've always got to be looking for quality people. Where do you see the employment market or the labor market going over the course of the next 6 to 12 months, in your estimation?
Technicians is definitely always an issue, and always it has been for several years now.
Mm-hmm.
There's less and less enrollment. So like I said, we are working with technical colleges, but even their enrollments are down.
Correct.
So it's really a matter of.
By the way, without giving away the story here, you and I and Ron and your team are working with a couple of different providers right now in that end. We don't need to name them right now, but we're working on improving that.
Yeah, so it's up to the industry to actually attract people into it. I'm going to touch on sales. It's to bring people who might not have necessarily been salespeople before, but they can sell cars because the game has changed completely. If they're great with social media, they're great with TikTok, they're great at branding themselves, they could be great salesmen nowadays.
Yes.
So people still have this old stigma of the car industry and what a car salesperson is. So if we can portray the new industry that we have and how things have changed, we'll be able to attract people into it. But it's up to everybody to put in that effort to do so. That's why I'm out at car shows. That's why our team is out at car shows. We're out at car events. Not because it's bringing us any business, because some of these, they're 15-year-old kids, 14-year-old kids. Well, let me tell you, when I was the 13-year-old kid at the car show, why do you think I ended up in the car industry?
Yeah.
We have to think about the future. Exactly. We have to think about the future and prepare it for the next generation as well and attract people into it.
Yeah, no question about it. I think that there's always a love affair or a romance in our industry with the younger folks. There's something incredibly attractive and provocative about the products that we sell and service and work on a daily basis. And so we're looking for those people that are looking, right? We're looking for those people that have a passion, have an enthusiasm for the business, and we're looking for those folks ultimately to fill the positions that we've got in our businesses. And again, I don't care whether the market's up, the market's down as it relates to the economy and our business at large. I think ultimately, focusing on people is always going to be what drives results. And you want to be the very best performing company or dealership in your market or the greater market at large, regardless of where the overall market is. You want to be getting your fair share each and every day.
Yeah. Are they out at sporting events? Are they out being involved in the community? I know some of the ones that we've discussed before, Sandy, we were just mentioning his name. He's very involved in community events. And it's not only helping his sales, because too many times they're focused on, this is going to help me sell more cars because my name's out there. No, this is going to help show your company's image and build the culture and attract people that want to work for the company. Stop just focusing on sales. Sales will come. If you have the right culture and you have the right people working for you, the sales will come. So it's really invest in the people and the culture.
As Sandy and I always say, it's about helping them make the best decision possible for them. And to your point, Scott, being out in the community and being around the culture, there was a Cars and Coffee last weekend that had 2,000 cars show up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Think about all the technicians there. Think about all the distributors there. There's an appetite for the automotive industry from the enthusiast standpoint that I feel like doesn't get tapped into by the dealership. And a lot of times that's an opportunity as well.
Yeah, we were out at a tuner show in Orlando. It got sold out. There was over 5,000 people that showed up. These are all people that are interested in the industry.
Yep.
But there was not one single dealership there. We were there because we understand how the market is, and these are the people in the industry. People aren't watching TV anymore. So putting a TV ad, putting this, no, you have to be part of the industry itself and go where the candidates are, and showcase the industry and your stores. So, I mean, it's great. They all end up on USA Motor Jobs and they'll connect with the dealers from there, but there was not one forward-thinking store that was at the tuner show.
Well, Ron and I talked about that about a year ago with respect to another client that we were working with. It was a Honda client, Ron. And I said, I think there's a huge opportunity missed on the parts and service side for all these young kids that are out there tuning up their Hondas, Toyotas. There's, the usually tends to be more geared towards the import market. But those folks they're perfect candidates for us. If you can teach them how to take their passion and turn it into a career path and ultimately a paycheck, I think they'd be willing to listen to that conversation. But we've got to be out there and engaging with these folks on a constant basis. Look, if you can't be at the car show, support it in some way, shape, or form. You can't be at the event, support it in some way, shape, or form, and use social media as the way to be really sticky and connect with them so you can have that two-way opportunity to interact and communicate with them.
No, definitely. And I know it's mostly imports, but trust me, down here in Florida, it's a lot of domestic. Just the Mopar boys, there's a fire.
You're on the money. We talk about the Mopar crew specifically. There's a huge community out there. Listen, if you can tap into that culture, the candidates will follow.
No, definitely. And it shows your involvement, and it shows the extra steps you're willing to do and to be part of them, and your company culture. I'll say it again, I keep repeating it, the company culture. If you're there being with them, what they love to do on their nights, on their weekends, it shows a lot about how forward thinking the company is. Yeah,
no question. If you take it from just we want to go from paycheck players to people that are passionate about pursuing a career path. And I think that's ultimately the message, in terms of the last 10 to 15 minutes or so, is, teaching people how to follow their passion as opposed to just chase a paycheck. And I think that's critical. It goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning, being able to tell your story effectively, being able to go out there and articulate what the values of your organization are. These are all the things that will attract top candidates and top talent in the marketplace today. But we're coming up on 12:41, buddy. Any closing thoughts in terms of where you see things going, how dealers can make a difference these days? Any message you want to share with the audience before we wrap it?
I'm fully confident in the industry. I love this industry. I'm fully dedicated to it. So yeah, there's always going to be some speed bumps along the way, but I truly believe we're in one of the greatest industries. It's constantly evolving. It's something that everybody should be in. There's always something new to learn. So anybody who's on board, Sandy, with ourselves or somebody forward thinking like you, we're really out there pushing the best message, and I think the dealers can benefit from it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, buddy. I'm so thankful that you picked up the phone and actually reached out to me on LinkedIn.
I did reach out to you as soon as I saw you
on LinkedIn first.
I saw your article. I said, you know what, I'm sure we're going to click. We have the very similar, if not identical, views on employment, on how the industry should be, and we both want what's best for it, which was very genuine when I saw. So that's, as soon as I saw your article, I reached out. I said, I need to speak with him, and we need to do something.
It's funny because when we finally put the call together, I was on my way to meet with a client for dinner, and I was stuck in traffic on I-95, shocker, in New Jersey. But it was great because, truthfully, I think we spent like 45 or 47 minutes on the phone. We just kept going back and forth, and I knew right then and there that there was going to be an opportunity for us to really shake things up, in the recruiting space, specifically for automotive. And so I'm thankful that you reached out. I'm thankful for the opportunity to align our company with yours. I'm excited as hell for what we're doing here moving forward. And so I want to point people to either sandycerami.com or usamotorjobs.com. Either way, you want to post positions that are available in your organization, certainly go right to usamotorjobs.com and do so. If you want some help in terms of the recruiting piece, for somebody to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, where you don't have the time or the manpower that you can dedicate to that piece of the business, we can do the early heavy lifting for the organization and get that done for you. So just go to sandycerami.com, and we'll share more details with you then. We guarantee results, by the way. Our process and our system is so effective that we guarantee the results. All right. So, my man, I want to thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. And I look forward to what we're building together for the industry.
Yeah, no question about it, bro. It's time. It's time. There's a huge appetite for it. So, listen, make sure you follow both Ron and myself as well as Scott on social media. You can find us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, certainly on usamotorjobs.com. So make sure you check us out. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and please follow us on the social media platforms. Visit sandycerami.com for any of your recruiting, training, or profitability solutions needs. We provide the most cost-effective solutions in the marketplace today. Our goal is for our dealers and our dealer clients and our B2B clients to optimize the performance of their company and their profitability as well. So we look forward for the opportunity to do some business with you. Listen, you want to grow your profits, you got to grow your people first. That's just the way it goes. You got to make a difference before you make a dollar. In the meantime, Scott Trainor, CEO of USA Motor Jobs, thanks again. It's time for us to step up to stand out, and we are out.
Have a great day, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Thank you. Have a great day.